right? So what we want to do today is to play around with Node.js, the backend, especially Express, and see what you can build, how you can build a simple web service from there. I didn't prepare much. I haven't done the Node.js for a while, but it's not really too difficult. And most of the things we can Google and find it. Okay, so we can look at that together so that you can see how you can build things from scratch. All right. So to start that, you want to make sure you have the node installed. Okay, most of these things are done in terminal. And so you want to make sure that you have the tools there. Let me actually create a folder. All right, you want to make sure you have a node command. Not sure about the version. This version 12, and again, you can go to the Node.js to check out the latest version, but just install it. Yeah, it's not the latest version, but it should be enough. The version is often very tricky, depending on which version you use. That might affect your dependency, but just follow the tutorial, get the recommended version. That's okay, right? Make sure you have the node installed, and then so we're not going to talk anything about the basic node stuff. This is just Node.js, JavaScript. Okay, so for example, if you run here in the command line, I think you can do the console.log to print something. All right, so that's just going to give you the results, and then you can define a variable, and then you can print the variable. Oh no, sorry, log console.log. Okay, so that's it. So it's a basic simple language. We're not going to go through the basic fundamental of JavaScript. That is not really too hard to learn. The best way to do those probably goes through the W3 schools. I think a lot of this tutorial is really concise and very easy to follow. Right, so you might want to do they have a node? Actually tutorials. They should have Node.js, I remember. Yes, right here. So this one here, well, actually, they just started to talk about the server stuff, not as basic. But if you're looking for the JavaScript, I think you probably just want to go to JavaScript, something like that. But yeah, this is also very useful. But anyway, the language itself is JavaScript. But we're talking about, again, a web service framework. Okay, just like Java or Python, now you can know the language, you can write your own kind of network programming to deal with the server stuff. But what's always recommended is to follow some kind of web service framework. Now in this case, it's called Node Express. Okay, so Express, as you can see, is a web application framework. It just integrates everything together so that you don't have to worry about all the details. You just follow the framework to program and build your web applications. All right, so let's actually just follow the guide and then get started. Okay, so I'm just going to look at the getting started guide. They have some really simple stuff going on. Okay, all right, so a lot of installation in the beginning. So you have a folder here. I already created a folder. So let me actually open that in the editor. Okay, so not sure about what's the best IDE for Node. Okay, I know a lot of you use VS Code. It's all similar. So VS Code probably has more fancy features. Let me actually find the folder. This is the folder I just created. I'm going to open this folder. Okay, right now it's empty, but we'll see. All right, so once we create a folder, they want us to initialize and then get the basic project. To use npm. npm is the package management tool for Node.js. Okay, npm initialize. And then they're going to ask you the application name. I'll just leave it a default. Versions, default, descriptions, demo. And the entry point, that's the file you want to run first, just like a main method file. And then we'll call it app.js. That's more common. And then test command, repository, keywords, author, license. Is that okay? Yes. All right. So once this is done, they basically give you this little package.json file. It's a little configuration file. And then later on, you can use this file to specify a lot of other things, especially the dependencies. Okay, so that's the first starting point. Let's keep going. And here you need to install the actual Express dependency. Just like you need to install Java Spring, you need to install Python Flask. Those are all the dependencies. Okay, so here is the Express dependency. Now you do that with npm. All right, npm install. So they do npm install, and then there is a / save. That basically means they want to save that as an entry as dependency here. So we will talk more about those as we do the software build automation. Okay, for now, let's just follow that npm install Express save. Okay, if you do this, all right, so it installed everything and asked me to update this one. But what I want to show you here is that now you see here in this package.json file, they automatically create this Express and then add a version there. So when you do the -save, that's what happens. So they will actually save the dependency into your package list file. Okay. Give me 1 second. All right, sorry about that. And then here's how you specify the dependency. Okay, so now with that, you can also see once you install the dependency, you have this node modules. So that actually suddenly get a lot of code. As I told you before, the web service is a very complicated program. It's not a couple of files you can write it. It involves so much things, networking, operating system, parsers, all of this. So that's why even though you're just doing one that depends on Express, it actually brings a lot of other dependencies, all the different kind of libraries. It's a very complicated program, so it's very powerful. Okay, so that's the first step. Now let's keep going. And then let's see the next Hello World example. I really like Node.js just because it's so simple and easy. Okay, so as you can see, that's it. That's a little bit code for the Hello World example. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to copy the code. Okay, very quick. But we need to create this file, and it's in our case it's app.js. Right click here, new file. Let's save it. App.js. All right, that's our main code file, JavaScript file, and then we'll copy this one. So that's it, and that's our whole example. All right, very quickly now here, Express, it could require Express. That's basically just to import. Okay, just like in Java or Python, do the import, and then here you create a instance with that Express class. Okay, this is like a class, and then this is our object. This is simply a variable, and then they mark them all to be constant. It's just a constant. They don't want to change it. All right. Now, very importantly for this line of code, you can see for the app, and then you got a get, and then you got a slash, and then some kind of request response parameter. And then this is a lambda function. So inside the function, you are actually just sending the string back. Okay. And that's it. This one, if you haven't seen the example I did for Java, for Python, it's all similar. Okay, just very simply return you some kind of a tags and strings, so that they can later on can call and test that URL. And then this one is to listen. This is where you trigger the starting of the server. Okay, so you provide the port number, and then you provide a little log once things are started. So this is the one that really started. So that's it. So as you can see, a lot of people like JavaScript because it's very, very concise to write. So I'm going to save the code, and then we're going to go to the terminal. Okay, so we'll actually see Node, and then this one will be app.js. That's how you run a JavaScript file. Okay, so I'm going to click on enter. As you can see, the program has not stopped. So it means the program is still running, the server program, and everything is running correctly and the port is resolved. Okay, so now I'm going back to the browser. I'll go to the new tab, localhost, :3000, and then do slash, or you don't need to do that, hit enter, and then you can see that little return from the file. Very straightforward. Okay, so this is still about URL mapping, as I showed you in Java. So you provide some kind of URL here, and then it's going to be mapped back to one of the functions. So with that, we can easily add other things. Okay, so we can easily add other URLs. We're going to talk about slash demo, and here you can show. Okay, so this is a Java. Sorry, this is Node.js. All right, save it. I think you can do semicolon or not, doesn't matter. But in the past, JavaScript always have semicolon. I think they changed this a lot. You can save this. So every time you have to rerun it, so Control C and then rerun the Node.js and then go back to the server. This URL still exists, but if I do slash demo, and here show the different text. So very straightforward. Okay. So maybe what was also going to think about doing today is maybe show something on the database side. Okay, saving the data. So maybe we will talk about how do we adding data, getting data, search those. So we need to come up with some kind of concept, right? So maybe a good one to do here, and probably something really simple. All right. So maybe we can. All right. Yeah, maybe we'll just search for, just make up some example, or maybe search for jobs or positions. Okay. To save those. All right. So we basically want to be able to create positions, and then to that's it, and then get certain position, and also be able to search by services, maybe by salary, I guess. Okay, very simple. You can also do delete. That's not really too important. Okay. Very basic operations. Okay, now every position probably have some name, company, sorry, title, position, or role, company, salary. Make it simple. All right. So in that case, we'll need to have a couple of parameters, sorry, APIs. So we need to create, we need to get, we need to search and delete. Okay. So we're going to follow this and just start to build it. All right. So we'll do a job. It's easier. Okay. Now to create, that's the first thing we need to do. When we create, we can do get, but most of the time we actually use something called a post. So I have those kind of explained in the other video about HTTP method. And the HTTP get and post are two commonly used HTTP method. It's not required that you have to do post for a create. It's just a very good convention of doing that. All right, so, but yeah, so let's actually see here. The very important thing we need to solve is that as you create a position, you will need to pass all these things. Okay, you need to pass the string for role, string of company, and also the salary into this URL. Okay, that's when you need to learn how do we take the input parameters from this URL. Okay, so let's actually go to check some of this tutorials. Again, I didn't prepare anything. I'm just going to search and look for this one. I haven't programmed this for a while. So that I think this way also you can kind of see what will be the process actually getting this build from totally scratch. Okay, So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do Node.js express pass parameters in the URL. Okay, looks like I've done this one before. Search for some answers. Okay, so there are two ways you can actually do the one in line in the URL. That's a lot easier. I think you can also do the query parameters, just do the question mark, that one, and then you can pass those from the request.query. Okay, so let's actually do the second approach. Okay, so I'm going to do a job. This one keeps the same, but I will also here, I will say that I'm going to print request.query. And then basically just IDs, the name of the parameter. So very convenient. So for example, I'm going to pass company. And then you can do the same thing. I'm going to pass the role. I'm going to pass the salary. Okay. Let's see if we can print those. All right, so I'm going to do the second part. Save the project and then I'll run node.js. All right, so the app is running. So I go back to my browser. I'm going to go to localhost /job and then do this is called the URL query parameter. So I'll do a company equals to Google and role equal to software and salary equal to 110K. Okay, let's save this link. So I'm going to hit enter. All right, so as you can see, it automatically print all these variables and then extract those from the URL. Okay, so that's how it works. This is how you can pass the parameters from URL to your actual service. Okay, so you can see I can get all these variables here. Now what I need to do is actually to save all of this. Okay, so I'm going to show a very naive way, just create a list to save everything. Okay, so I'm going to create a just global variable here. Okay, that will be our job DB. And we do this, maybe, yeah, I'll just do a very simple list, okay, first. So as you are adding this one here, now we can form everything into like a job record using a dictionary or a hash table. So this way it's easier to manage. So company will be this. Okay, role will be this. Salary will be this. Okay, so you got this one, and then we can add that into the list. Or should we do, yeah, let's do just a simple one. Okay, just put those into the list. So job DB dot push, right? That's how JavaScript works. Okay. All right, to make sure this is correct, I'm going to print this job DB every time after adding it. You can see what DB looks like. And I'm going to return this job has been added. So let's save and then go back and run this again. This time I'm going to go to my URL refresh. All right, so as you can see, guys, here this time I'm actually getting the attribute. I form a record. I save those as a JSON into my little local database. Okay, I'm going to do another one like Facebook. Let's offer a little bit more. Hit enter. As you can see now the record has two data there. Okay, so just to simulate a little local database. All right, so that's how you can create jobs. So we got one thing done. Okay. And the next one we can do, I'm going to delete some logs because, oh, actually, no, I will leave. Oh, yeah, this one I don't need it. I'll just delete those. The next one will be, maybe let's do a simple one. Okay, just search. We'll do some quick demos. Search by salary. So if your salary is above certain things, then I'm going to return that for you. Okay, so app dot Just copy paste. Okay. Search jobs. Okay, so this time I'm going to change a different URL. I can do job/search. Okay, and then I will show you a different way to pass it. Just based on the example here, you could put the parameter into the ID with a colon like this. So let's try that. Colon salary. Right. So this way you're passing a search criteria, the minimum salary. And then let's first make sure we can actually grab that salary. Okay. So it's called a request.parameters dot the name. Okay. So console.log, and that is request.parameters.salary. Okay, just to make sure that we can see this one. Okay. Returning the job. Save. Go back. Stop, and then run this again. And then I'm gonna go back to my browser. I'll leave this URL here, and then I'm gonna use this one. So I'll say job/search/ I'm gonna look for something 100K. All right, go back to my console. It does print it, right? So that shows how you can pass the parameters through the URL like this and then give it to here. Okay, so now we need a very simple algorithm to search, and there's really nothing we want to can do here is just iterate everything, brute force. Okay. Again, I can't remember some of the advanced JavaScript stuff. Okay, I'll just do very basic one. Okay, so just with a for loop, and then this one will be job_db dot length. Okay, and then and then very basic Java way. Okay, I'm sure there is a for each loop. Okay, I just forgot how to do it. And then I'm also going to create little result list to record the ones that should be included. So here, very simple, if the job_db dot salary is greater than or equal to the salary we're looking for here. Okay, and then the result dot push. We're going to get this job_db, this record into our database. That's it. And then finally, we can return this hosting back to the server. So let's see if we can directly return the results. Okay. All right. Hopefully that doesn't have any syntax error. Let's try it again. So run this again. So I need to add a couple of jobs first. Add this one and maybe another one with Amazon. Okay. So looks like we got 2 positions. Okay, actually, why there's 3? Oh yeah, because that's the first time I added it. Okay, so there are 2, and I'm gonna search for 100K. Run it. Perfect. So yeah, today it's my lucky day. I didn't have any kind of errors, and then I didn't prepare this one. Okay, I was just doing this one totally from scratch. As you can see, JSON is returned. With all this attributes we specified, and then they both are above 100K. So that's why this will return. I'm sure the algorithm works. Okay, so that's how you can do something like this very quickly. As you can see, JavaScript, there are a couple of things that's really helpful. Number one, it works really well with JSON stuff. Okay, like this is the JSON. Okay, and then this is the JSON. So you do not need to do a lot of data conversions and turning that into a string and return all of this. Here you can simply just return the result. It will automatically turn it into a string and then show it on the website. And then also, dealing with the parameters also pretty straightforward. Just directly grab the name and using a dot to get the attribute. So the main reason people like this Node.js is the simplicity. Very concise, very fast. If you do the same thing in Java, you probably need to write more, and it takes longer to test. Okay, but there are also disadvantages, I think, for Node.js. It's these are like a interpreter-based language like Python. Many cases you just don't know whether it's right or wrong to run it, and sometimes feel a lot of uncertainties. So that's why I feel Java is a lot more stable when it comes to the server side. That's why Java is still a very popular option. Okay, so these are the main things I want to go through for Node.js. Just want you to see it's all the same thing. Okay, once you know your data, the functionalities, then build those URLs so that you can interact with those in your browser or using other tools, and then you can build a front end. Okay, I'm not going to show too much about the front end, but I do want to try another one, which is the database, because this one here, you can't just use this as a database. Okay, this is local. You stop the server, everything will be gone. Now you definitely want to connect to the database. Now, database is a huge topic. Okay, we don't have too much time to do it, but these days, you might heard about the Node.js, not Node.js, NoSQL database. Okay, which is simply a big, huge hash table. And one of the most famous ones is the MongoDB. A lot of you probably heard about that. So I can see how we can, use MongoDB to integrate that with your application. So MongoDB works with any kind of web service. It works with Node, also with Python, Flask, and Java, and with anything. So it doesn't matter which language you use. All right. So, and then another reason I think you could try MongoDB is that the MongoDB, they have this cloud service. Okay. I think they change. Okay, let's make sure it's the right thing. I think let's try this. Okay, MongoDB cloud. Yes. So the good thing about this one is that you can host a database in their cloud, and I think you can get this free account that has a very limited size, but it's really enough for use case. Okay, so we can try this one, and then host a database, and then connect your server to the database so that you can save data there. Okay, let's see if we can do it. I never ran this demo before. Okay, this demo might fail. Okay, let's try that. So let's try it, and then I have already got an account, so you guys just need to sign up. Okay, so I'll just sign up with my account. All right, so these are some other project, and then yeah, try to figure out some of these details. They have a lot of separations on different things here. Yeah, these are some of the what this is a project. Okay, this is called a project. Okay, so looks like we need to create a new project. I'm going to create a new project here. All right, just give a name, CS4800, and click on next. And members, permissions, everything. I'll just, yeah, so I think this is good. I'm just gonna give this one to myself. All right, so that's it. And once you have a project, very straightforward, so let's build a database. Okay, let's actually click on build a database. Now you don't want to go to with the free, which is the shared version. This is far more enough. Okay, so this is a very good performance, good for a project to do. So I'm gonna create this one. And then you can even choose where you want to host. Okay, they actually host in Amazon, Google, and AWS. I don't know why they want you to choose this one. Oh, because maybe they want to see where your application is. If you're also hosting in AWS, maybe that's faster. So yeah, I'm gonna choose AWS, and I'll put it in Oregon. Hopefully that's faster. So this is the size of 500 megabytes. Settings, all of this should be good as long as it's free. So we are good. Okay, create cluster. Okay, so here, very important, you need to create a username and password that you can actually operate the username. So I'm going to do a software engineer user. So password, I'll also do I'll do the same thing as the user. As the user 4800. Okay, so let me write it down. All right, let me create a user. All right, so that we probably need to use that one to connect to the database. All right, and then what would you like to connect? So yeah, we probably looking for the local environment for now. My guess is this one is some kind of a control on the which IPs you're going to allow to visit this database, just to control the security. All right, so it looks like you need to get your own IP there. So I'm going to add my current IP. And that's my current IP. Now, hopefully that works. Okay, I don't know if that's actually accurate, but anyway, let's finish. All right, so I think they need to create and then connect to the database. Yeah, so the MongoDB is basically a giant hash table. Okay, so you can create different documents and all of those. You should be able to find a lot of tutorial on those. So this one is being created, right? And then you can find a lot of guide on how to do this. I would just brought in something, and this one isn't very new, but it at least shows an idea in the server, connect to the database, and the friend then is going to talk to the server. Okay, so they have a little bit more complicated things, but let's actually see how we can connect to the database. That's the part we're missing right now. But this one here is still showing all this basic where else? So okay, here in MongoDB, and they suggest the same thing, that to connect with the same like MongoDB cloud, right? Setting up here, yeah, this is pretty much the same thing I just did. Connecting, there's a connect button. Okay, so adding an IP whitelist, and our application. Okay, yeah, so they're going to show you some of the connecting strings you will need. And you put the username and password, then you can connect it. And then here, okay, you use a Mongo client to test it. All right, so here's the code we need. All right, so it looks good. So it looks like MongoDB, we do need a little client here. Okay, so that one is Mongoose, this one. Okay, so which one would be better? I feel this may be a little bit better. Okay, connect model. Yeah, I think this is a lot better. I like simple stuff. The other one looks like it's a very fundamental ones. Okay. Yeah, so let's actually do this one. Again, I'm not expert, but looks like this is actually a pretty popular one. Okay. Let's actually take a look at their documentation, everything. Yeah, very good. So let's actually just use this one. Okay. Mongoose. All right, let's install that one first. I'm going to stop this one. npm install the name and then -- save, so that this will actually put this into the dependency. All right. And then to use this one, you need to add this little dependency to the code first. Okay. And then we need to connect this. Okay. So we obviously do that in the beginning. So we're going to get the connection string from the cloud. Okay, let's go here. Looks like server is done. We're going to click on connect. Okay, connect with a shell with application. Here is the string. So this is very important. Just copy this one and put it right here. And you can see here, you also need to provide a password. In our case, SE user 4800. All right, so that should work, right? Let's see how we can test if this one's working. Let me just run this. Okay, so run that. Okay, so it doesn't complain anything. I assume it's connected. let me actually change the user just to see if it's wrong. And then, yeah, as you can see, if I got a bad username, it's failed. So that means the other one was working. Very good. So as you can see, so simple these days to build things like this. 2 minutes to create a database for free. It's hosted, and then you can then connect it. So save and then run it. That's it. All right. Now with this, the rest will be easy. So this will be your client that you can use to interact with the database. And then you basically just need to use this one inside here, right? So instead of pushing this one to the local variable, I can just push that one to the database, right? But here we will need to do a little bit, understanding about the MongoDB. I think they manage those by collections, by document. Again, some of this concept, I can't tell the detail, but let's just follow some examples. And database, do you need to specify the database? Yeah, oh, actually, we're actually following this one. Okay, so let's try this. Okay, so you actually do a model, and then you give a name of the model, and then here is, okay, so you specify the model first. Okay, that's what it looks like. And then here is how you create a new object. And then here you can do save. Kitty.save. Okay, I see. All right, anyway, that's their way to do it. Let's actually try to follow that. Yeah, now I understand why I didn't show this, because this is actually an advanced library. Okay, it's basically talking about object mapping. We need to actually switch to this. So it has, no, this is the create client, get the collection, and then from the collection you actually can save. Yeah, in that case, I think this one might be better, guys. Okay, sorry about that, because this one, it shows you at least the basic concept. This one is too advanced. So you basically create a class and model automatically map everything. So this one might be the one you want to use eventually, but this library might be better in terms of understanding this whole database. Okay, let's actually do this. All right, so let me add this MongoDB client to my project. Okay, and then I'll do the same thing. Okay, so I'm gonna comment on this one. Okay, we don't need this one for now, but this guy, and we need to connect. This one doesn't give much errors. So here is a connection string, the same thing. So we're gonna connect here. If something is wrong, and then we can see fail to connect to the database. All right, so run this. Oh, sorry, run this again. Oh, it's failed. Okay, so we don't want to see that. Why it's failed. Okay, so these are the same one. See if we are missing anything. Put this one here, username, and it's very weird. Wait, sorry, this not necessarily means to fail actually. So it's just a callback. It gave an error and client, right? So that, yeah, sorry, I think it doesn't mean this one's failed. All right, so it just means that they're gonna give you a both. I think we need a client. Yeah, okay, so that's you there. Cool. So yeah, because our error is undefined, so we don't have error. If there are errors, and then we'll show the error, otherwise we'll see connected. All right, so because there's no reason so it will be failed because the same string here. So let me run this again. Yeah, so this is the connected, so we should have the client here. Okay, sorry for the confusion. All right, so after that, I assume we're gonna do everything with this little client and you know to do things. Okay, looks like we don't have that warning, and then we have everything here. Okay, so here is changing the database. Yeah, we don't need that. I think we already have a default database here. So these are all not important. Okay, let's just dive into create. Okay, that's the most important part. Okay, so client, connect, and then client here. So they go by collections. Okay, like in our case, we have a collection of jobs or positions. Okay, and then you need to use this DB and then save them. Sorry, to get a DB and then get a collection. And then from there, we will need to, create. Or did it show the create? Okay, so anyway, I think I'm just gonna try it. Okay. So you connect, you get a con, and get a con, get a connection. Okay, anyway, I got it. So let's do this. Okay, this might not be the best way, but should be okay. All right, so I am going to create a client called DB client. Okay, so once you connect it, the DB client will be having this client so that we can access this one from anywhere. So whenever you're adding things to here, we're going to use a client, the DB client, to actually do something. Okay, let's try that. So we're going to get the database and then we're going to get the collections. Okay, so see if that's going to work. Again, the demo might fail. Okay, so we'll see. So this part remains the same. It's the same job, and then it doesn't matter. We don't need the local. I'm going to delete this one, and then we don't need to do this one. But the main thing we want to test is to get the actual DB and then get the collection. The collection here is jobs. For DB, do we really need that? Because I feel that's already connected. Okay, so let me double check what's the name of our database. So our name, it's open cluster. You know what? Let's just test it. Okay, so it's I don't know the concept here, but I'll call this one as a job DB. Okay. Let me make sure I can print something. So go here, I run it, and then if I go to add the jobs, Okay, so the client is not defined. Oh, it's called a DB client. Okay. All right, so as you can see, this is good. So it actually print the database. It get the collection, and we didn't create those ones. I assume that they can create those ones. So this is good. Okay. Looks like the MongoDB very you don't have to create. We never create this job DB. We never create a collection, but looks like they're working. The only thing we need to figure out is how do we add things to the collection, which I think it should be easy thing to do. Okay, so let me Google a little bit. MongoDB add document, insert document. Wait, this is the MongoDB. Let me still actually go through here. Why they didn't show the example? I see. Oh, insert one. Sorry, they show it. I didn't see it. Yeah, insert one. So very simple. Let's try that. All right. So I'm going to do a collection dot insert one. And then we're going to insert our job record just directly as a JSON. Now, every time when you do this, since you're talking to the database, you always want to make sure that you're capturing if this is right or wrong. Then catch error. You just kind of block. It's very popular. You also see that in Flutter. So if you insert it successfully, you're going to see this one. Otherwise, you're going to see this one. All right. So there's always a callback so that you can, make sure you do the right thing based on the results. Okay. So I'm going to print add the job successfully. I'm going to comment this part here. Let's see. Go back, stop, run this again. Okay, so let's add this one here one more time. All right, so add this one all successfully. Let me add one more. So it's a Google, and this time is higher salary successfully. Okay, so with that, you should be able to find things here. Let's see, how do we view I know you can do with this Mongo like a client I have. Oh, I do. All right. So this is a little client that you can use to view the database. All right. So that we can make sure the things are saved. Okay. So let's add the same thing, the connect string to the password. SE user 4800 connect. All right, as you can see, you can do the job. This is the new database I created. There is one collection called jobs, and there are actually two records. So everything is successful. All right. So they all also automatically give you an ID here. Okay. So with that, if you want to do another thing for the search, I assume it's the same thing. You look at this client and collection, and we're gonna follow our algorithm, get everything. I'm sure there's kind of a search thing, search by thing, but I'm not sure we have time to investigate that too much. But let's actually still try to get their code. Let's insert one. Let's just search for the keywords, how we can use all of this. Okay, this is the font. Okay, font one and update. Font one and update. Why do they need? Where is the search? So delete is easy. You guys can figure it out. But for search, okay, so this is for update. Yeah, we really need to have a good documentation. I just don't know which one will be the best documentation. It is. All right, so let me try to find the right documentation. So where are you in? Oh, here we go. So this is the good what we need. So you just find everything. This one give you everything from the collection, and then you just iterate on it. Okay, so definitely not efficient. Okay, but I just want to show you a working example. We're almost there. Okay. So with that, I'm gonna get the code here. And then, so here's our collection, and we're gonna do cursor, and then we do the collection dot find. Okay, so that's gonna be our cursor. Actually, just do it here. Okay, DB and then cursor coming from the collection, and then here you're gonna iterate everything, and we'll do the same thing. Result. So if you find anything, if the item is not, that means it's done. Otherwise, we'll just add this one to the result. Push. Okay, so at the end, you should have a complete things there, and then you can just return it. But then you don't want to return it right here because this actually let's try it. Okay, let's just try it. Okay, this is going to return everything. It doesn't do the checking yet, but let's see if that works. But this time I don't have to input the data again because I already saved that into the database. So I go back here, try to search for jobs. This is not working. All right, so cursor.each is not a function. All right, did I do anything wrong here? So db.collection. Oh, to array. Did this one work? Let's try it. All right, so that's all data. All right. Yeah, again, I'm not expert on all this, so I'm just trying to figure out the ways that can make it work. Okay, so this one, hopefully this will give you some kind of background. Just keep trying different things. Let's make it work first, and then you try to optimize it. Yeah, this one. It's successful, but it's not giving us anything. Oh yeah, you have to wait on that one. Sorry. So if you wait down that, so we just do this. Async function. So where do we add async? Oh, okay, so that works. So this one does pull the data from database. I can see this is from DB and get everything. Okay, so with that, you can probably do the same thing as we did before for now, let me just show every data here. Okay. But if we do again, the same thing. All right, so that's it. And I can delete this part here. Same logic that we're replacing that with the database. So I go back and refresh, and then you got these two companies. All right. So last try. Okay. So I'm gonna put something more here. I'll do, for example, Edison. Okay. You're not gonna get a lot of salary there. Okay, 75K, and then you add it. So when you go back here to search, you're still get this one. What's wrong with that? Oh, sorry. It's to return the result on all data. Start run this again. Now you're not gonna see Edison. Not working. Oh, because the salary we're adding is not it's not integer. Okay, so it's quite a lot of bugs here. Okay, so how do we turn that? So Node.js string to integer. Parse int. Is that the way to go? Okay. This one, I assume we also need to do it. All right. Hopefully that works. Nope. Just debug a little bit to see why. I think that's a problem. So it looks like this is not even executed. Oh, why it doesn't see? That's the part I don't like. I had a wrong spelling. This is not even showing error. So I don't know why. Yeah, now it works. So yeah, sorry for the bug. So that was the wrong spelling. Okay. Anyway, guys, it was a very rushed demo. But as I mentioned, the nice thing about this demo is I literally didn't figure anything. I know all these things, but I never code this one. Otherwise, I will show you a better way of writing some of those. But this one you can see is very easy to get everything set up. So don't feel intimidated by this project. Okay, a lot of good learning, but it's all very useful stuff. Okay. Yeah. Oh, sorry, you guys actually saw that. I didn't see the chat. I was a little bit too nervous to finish this one. Okay. Anyway, guys, very good live demo. Okay, I'm very happy about this one. So finally we made it work. So I'll probably try to show some other things about React.js and Vue.js, those kind of things, how to connect it. But this is one option. Okay, you can do the same thing with Python and Java. It doesn't mean the MongoDB only works for any kind of a framework works. Okay. All right, guys. I will actually stop recording. I'll put this one